What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Rivah. It's very nice to meet you. Before we get into this video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. And as I always say, make sure you guys leave your comments in the comment section down below. It does not matter how you feel about this video. We all want to talk about it. Also, if you're not following me on Instagram, follow my Instagram. It's at RIVAH _JORDON, and we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into the video. I saw the title, and I'm really interested in how this conversation goes.
I know for a fact.
Every time I ask somebody to tell me the thing that
you watch King Talk, listen. I said this
never
earlier.
do it.
You watch,
so I'm not going to do this with you today. Tell me, what are the shows?
Can I ask you something?
No.
Okay,
tell
cool.
me the shows.
King Talk is the first show. King
Where
Talk
no one ever jumps in. How much you want to bet?
How much do you
want to bet?
What did
no
I just
one
say?
ever jumps in. I will find you clips.
What did I just say? I said when they do, they back up and say, "Excuse me, my bad. You go." They don't continue down this path. What we continually see here every freaking Thursday. And then you always say, "Well, just on this show, it's supposed to be WWE. Somebody's supposed to be off the top turnbuckle."
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You just in presidential debates, they interrupt each other. Are you kidding me?
What's the point of
having a moderator there?
You are not about to say.
It's so crazy that Rilla is making a point about interruption. Excuse me, and about the fact that when people do interrupt, they say, "I'm sorry, excuse me," and they step back. And she's literally proving his point while he's making his point about it. And I do think that is true. I feel like it's very common that, like, when other people are having conversations, like, and talking about certain things, it's easy sometimes to, to kind of get excited about a topic that maybe you're passionate about, and maybe you will have something that you want to say. But it's very important to allow that other person the space to finish their point, unless you're trying to, like, sometimes JR or even Anton, but most of the time JR will try to, like, overtalk people to try to bring it all back because, he's the person that's in control of the show. That's a different kind of interruption. Like, no, he's the one that has to interrupt you because he's trying to reel it in, So that's different, but I agree. Like, a lot of other people have dialogue. It doesn't mean that they might not overtalk each other or might not, say something at the same time. But there's always, like, that courtesy of, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead." Not a continuous, like, "I'm gonna keep talking over you." So I'm not gonna say that every show is like that, but I will say for sure that more times than not, when you do see other people having dialogue, that is how they maneuver it, but not here. just being honest.
What I said, I didn't say this is
Ay, Dios, por favor.
No, let it go. Because on this panel right here,
Gorilla speaking Spanish, he's so stressed.
This panel right here is 25-75%. Goddamn, you 25.
Okay, I heard you, Kay.
I'm talking to Chicago because he's like.
I know, but everybody heard you say you didn't say that.
You got Logic disappearing.
JR.
You literally have him fading away.
Saying that you said something that you didn't
say. Look at Logic fading away. This is what you did.
I don't understand. Like, what?
Look at Logic fading away.
Okay.
You're literally talking him off the screen.
Okay. I just think that it's the over talking. It's the keep going on. At some point in time, somebody has to make the sacrifice to roll back a little bit.
Okay, so why does it always have to be me?
It's not never you. That's the thing. So when you start doing a step back a little bit, then I think you might start seeing a difference. But I don't think you see the difference.
I agree with that, though. He said it's not never you. That's funny. It's not never you. I agree. I think, more times than not, it is going to be her, not all the time, okay? But more times than not, it is going to be her that's going to overtalk. And then when she does overtalk the person that's talking as well, she doesn't stop either. Like, she has to go all the way until she can finally finish her point that she was trying to make. Regardless of whatever anybody else was saying or trying to say, she has to be the one that's the main person that is finishing the point before anybody else gets to finish what they're saying. So I agree with that. I mean, and it's just honestly, it's just courtesy, you know. It's just and also for the viewers, it's hard for the viewers to be able to clearly hear what everybody is saying, because if 3 or 4 people are talking, sometimes it distorts the volume too. So it's just more about like giving the audience as well the best experience when they are watching or listening.
I'm not even gonna say anything because
sometimes you just gotta agree to disagree. I think we can move on.
No. Agree to disagree is some bullshit. Look, she's wrong. Call it.
No. I get that, but you can't. You're not gonna. Kay is on her position, and that's where she's gonna be. And,
but she's wrong.
She's allowed to be that. And
there's nothing that you can do.
And there's nothing. We're not gonna argue.
What are you gonna do?
It gets way too.
We're gonna just keep talking in circles, or are we gonna move on?
Right. Do we move on?
We're not just gonna move on, and this ain't how we do it.
Well, y'all keep talking in circles.
And this is the perfect example, and this is the beautiful thing about it, because we can go down these rabbit holes and have real conversations.
But
that's
we got
the
off of
dopeness
the
of this show.
topic. I just want to return back to the topic that you actually asked. That was more interesting than kind of the back and forth, who's over talking who. Let's just reset the button. Let's just push the reset, and you re-ask your question, and then that way we can continue that conversation.
See how Melanie was being very respectful, and
but it's still no. Because the point of the matter is that, and this is the perfect example of illustrating that.
But she's using the example. Oh, see how Melanie was doing that, and you're still over talking. I mean, the thing is, right? Melanie is not wrong for what she's saying right here, right? She's just like, I kind of feel like we're just kind of going in circles, and this and that, and that's just her perspective and her opinion. But at the end of the day, I think that if somebody is calling somebody out, that it's okay if they want to continuously have that conversation until that person can maybe see their side or see their wrongdoings. Because as we know from watching the show, if the shoe is on the other foot, and it was somebody that maybe Kay had to call out, she's not going to stop until they make her stop. Okay? So, it might be a little bit like frustrating for the other people who are not a part of the conversation, or just kind of like, okay, but it's still like a necessary thing because this is what they do on the show. Anton said this is what we do, and that's true. Watching the show, that this is something that they do when they call each other out. That is going to be the pinpoint until JR says next topic. So.
And refuse, no matter what, under any circumstance, to hold other women accountable. And this is why they find themselves in a position that they find themselves in every single day.
Big fact.
Well, how did I not hold anyone accountable? It's I just said, why don't we just move on from the topic? That is a form of accountability. That is a form of accountability.
It's not just you.
I'm gonna say this. I don't choose to hold no grown man or grown women accountable, especially if they're stuck in their ways. It's a waste of energy and breath. I've said this plenty of times. It doesn't make sense for me.
Cool.
Like, they're not just friends and telling me is who I hold accountable.
I gotta be honest. I just don't like arguing. I've like I said, I've told everybody I'm 40 years old. I'm at a place in life where, unless it's really, really important to me, like it's a core value, belief, or my life is on the line, I just don't have the energy to argue. So sometimes it's not that we don't want to hold someone accountable, but you have to understand your audience. You have to understand sometimes if you headbutt a person, they're just going to headbutt you back. Not everyone,
but you definitely argue with Mr. Logic.
But okay, I want to say something in regards to what Island Girl said. She's right about that. Some people take that position like, I don't have time. It's not my business. Whatever. She's obviously not going to change, or he's obviously not going to change. So why am I going to waste my time trying to convince them that they doing this wrong when they're grown and they should know better? That's a position that a lot of people do have, and a lot of people do stand with and take. Hey, you can't be mad at somebody for doing that, because that's just how some people do operate. That's factual. Melanie's saying that she doesn't have the energy to argue, and I do get that. Like, I genuinely get that. Like, you don't like contention and you don't like the discourse. I do understand that, but I think that there is ways to still hold each other accountable without even arguing as well. there are ways to still let that person know that you feel a certain type of way about the way that they're doing things, but at the end of the day, you personally don't have to ultimately argue with them. But I think it's still, a duty to hold people accountable when you do see them doing something wrong, if that's your stance, like Q just perfectly like stated her stance, like, not doing that. That's not my circus, I'm not doing that at all. But for people who are supposed to be at a place that they are holding other people accountable, it's like, it's an important thing to do.
Hold on, y'all. Let her finish, y'all. Let her finish.
No, this is a quick question.
Hold on. Let her finish first. Let her finish. Go ahead, Melanie.
That's so cute.
But what I mean is that people have different personalities. People have different, styles and way they talk. Some people are more stubborn. Some people are more easygoing. Like, this gets deep into psychology. So you can't just say general. I was actually going to answer your original question and agree with you with what you said, but it kind of got lost, and I think that was a better conversation to have, because this can go on infinitum, because it involves feelings and it involves emotions. Honestly, the conversation got too emotional for me, and I just wanted to state the facts and actual reasoning, opinions, and kind of dialogue and debate. That was just was getting very emotional, and it just was draining. And a lot of us are dealing with a lot in our real lives. We just don't have the emotions to give to a topic like this, that we're not that.
Right. Hey, Melanie, isn't the purpose of your videos? I see a lot of your videos. Isn't the purpose of your videos of holding women accountable?
No.
Okay. So now, if I can show you videos that you got specifically saying holding women accountable, you're quoting Kevin Samuels. I didn't see this. So now you have an opportune time to hold a woman accountable that you see right now that's been a distraction to the conversation, and you fail to do that. So now look,
I thought I did, because I guess maybe I think what the difference is that maybe the style of how I did it, maybe you have an expectation that I'm going to go in on her or start cussing her out or like shut the F and raise my voice.
You ain't said nothing to her.
I just said, but that's when
you ain't said, excuse me, honey. You ain't said, we didn't expect you to dive in and do the WWF on her, but you ain't said nothing. Nothing. You ain't said one word.
Yeah, she don't have to she wow.
You ain't said nothing.
So I was wondering why, when I went to my DM, I saw so many of you guys sending this video to me and asking me to react to it. And now I kind of guess why you guys wanted me to say something about this. And I think that there is two sides to this coin, okay? Logic, I'm going to start with the thing with what Logic just said, okay? Logic is saying, he asked the question, is your content about holding women accountable? Melanie's answer was no, okay? She says no. That's what she says. He's saying, but you have a lot of content where I feel like that's what you are doing. But if the person who is creating that content is telling you that is not what she is, that's not the purpose of what she's doing, or that's not the purpose of the content that she's creating, then you cannot hold her to that standard. And that's just me being real because of what her answer was, right? Now, if her answer was, yes, my content is about holding women accountable, then I think that you can hold her to that standard. I was a little surprised by the answer, because I thought that she was going to say that her stance was, yes, that she is holding women accountable with the content that she creates. I thought that she was going to say that, that she is holding other women accountable. But if she's saying that she's not, then who am I? Like, maybe, I've honestly never seen, like, her exact content on her page. I honestly have not. I saw, I think, a stream that she did with Danica one time, but I've never, and it was like a snippet. I didn't even watch the entire thing because I couldn't. I was busy. I wasn't able to watch it. So I honestly, like I said, I thought that was her stance. However, I don't know, because I don't truly watch her content, but I just figured that, like, if she was collaborating with, like, somebody like a Danica, that maybe that was her stance, is holding women accountable for their actions. But she said that it's not. So nobody can say anything because she's clarifying that that's not what the situation is. And okay, now moving forward, I do feel, based off of what Melanie just said, I do feel that sometimes when there is a woman that is supposed to be holding other women accountable, or when men see that woman as an ally, and then another woman does something wrong, sometimes they are expecting you to show improve, right? They're expecting you to prove who you are, but also to show that that is what you stand for outside of that, like in real life, in front of them. You know what I'm saying? The discourse or whatever the case is, like they're expecting that, and they're expecting it to be, you know, on display. And I'm not saying that men are right or wrong for that. But there are ways that you can do that without being confrontational. You know, Anton said, I was expecting you to say, excuse me, sweetie. You know, like they're not expecting her to, like as she said, like curse her out or fight with her. They're not expecting that type of behavior from her anyways, because they look at her as like a beautiful feminine woman, you know, but they were just expecting her to maybe step up a little bit more and clarify the situation. And you know, they look at you as an ally. They're looking at you to display that as well. So like I said, there's two sides to this coin. I want to know what you guys think about this. I genuinely want to know what you guys think and feel about this.
Nothing.
I mean, okay, so let's just be honest. I mean, some of us have talked to them about their tone, and just, you can say what you want to say, just don't cut them off. Why am I going to repeat it 10 times? Like, y'all are trying to change these women, and like men or women, we shouldn't be changing them if they're showing us them. Like, I don't get that. Like, we should just, you know, as I said, I'm not going to waste my breath over the same thing over and over. I've already brought up. Like, I don't think we should, as women.
You know what the beauty of that is now?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't want to hear no more complaining about women, about how black men ain't protecting.
So with Q, okay, so Q, I've watched Q on these streams, as you guys know. And, you know, I feel like she just always gives her honest feedback or her honest feelings, opinions, either side, just how she personally feels about certain things, right? And so I think even the statement that she just made, I think that they were expecting Melanie to kind of have Q's response in regards to the situation, you know? I think that's where the discrepancy lies. I think they were expecting her to somewhat say this exact thing. I want to come back to a certain point because I want to go back to when Melanie was speaking, because I feel like Melanie said something in regards to the situation, but she just didn't take it to a certain level. So I remember her saying something. I just want to play that clip. Why didn't I write the timestamp? You guys know I do this right in front of you guys. I didn't think I was going to go back, but I want to go and see if I can hear what she's saying. So we're going to play that one more time.
Conversations.
But
that's
we got off of the topic. I just want to return back to the topic that you actually asked.
Okay, no, it's not here. Is it here?
Agree to disagree is some bullshit. Look, she's wrong.
Okay, agree to disagree. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Okay.
You have them fading away.
Just saying that you said something that you didn't
say. Look at Logic fading away. This is what you did.
I don't understand. Like, what? Who? What?
Look at Logic fading away.
Okay.
You're literally talking off the screen.
Okay. I just think that it's the over talking. It's the keep going on. At some point in time, somebody has to make the sacrifice to roll back a little bit.
Okay, so why does it always have to be me?
It's not never you.
Okay, so I'm gonna use this for an example, right? Even JR. So JR is like, it's not never you, you know? But he's still making the same point, but he's not being like aggressive or whatever. He's just talking to her. Like, I'm just letting you know, like, for real, it is an issue. And it is something that you always do. And he's not saying in any way, like, you can be offended if you want to, but he's not portraying that message in any other light. So it just, you know, it's Logic, it's Anton, it's JR, it's Q, it's Rilla, you know, holding her accountable, just saying like, no, that is something that you are always doing. That is something that you repetitively do.
So when you start doing a step back a little bit, then I think you might start seeing a difference. But I don't think you see the difference.
JR. I'm not even gonna say anything because.
Sometimes you just gotta agree to disagree. I think we can move on.
No. Agree to disagree is some bullshit. Look, she's wrong. Call it.
No. I get that, but you can't. You're not gonna. Kay is on her position, and that's where she's gonna be.
But she's
wrong. She's allowed to be that.
There's nothing that you can do.
And there's nothing. We're not going to argue.
What are you going to do?
It gets way too.
You're going to just keep talking.
Okay, so she's basically saying, in a sense, you know, from what I get from what she was trying to say, they said that she's wrong, and she said, I get that, but you know, she's on her position, and we're not. So basically, she's saying we're not going to beat a dead horse. You know, if this is who she is, we're arguing and this and that, but this is still where she stands. So. In some regard, she is saying what Q is saying, but I think that, like I said, they were just expecting more of her to emphasize of how wrong she is. Also, taking into consideration, this is the first time that she is meeting this person. That I know. I don't know. I don't really know if they know each other. I'm just saying maybe, you know, because she was a guest on the show, maybe this is the first time that she's even having this conversation with this person. So, I'm not really sure, but I'm just saying, you know, we have to also take that into account as well.
No, I've already brought up. Like, I don't think we should, as women.
You know what the beauty of that is now?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't want to hear no more complaining about women about how black men ain't protecting them. We don't want to hear no more complaining about women as far as men not coming to the table. Why is men feeling like this? Why don't men want to let women in their spaces to have these conversations? Because when y'all get up here, y'all be capping. And I'm not saying you specifically, Q, but I'm talking about women in general. This is the prime example of what we illustrating. Okay, cool. We gonna take this exactly how it is. However it play out is how it play out. No more complaining. No more running in the victim Olympics. No more whining about it. No more complaining about how men are treating women. Black men don't protect black women. We don't want to hear none of that shit no more. Cool. Let's play it out exactly how it's gonna play out. Since we all came to an understanding that it don't fucking mean anything anymore, let's let the conversation play out how it's gonna play out.
We all came to an understanding where you made
I'm with it. I'm
Wait, I want to ask the panel, y'all.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the next topic, y'all. Nah, we're gonna move on.
No, we're gonna move on.
JR, I just gotta ask the panel this one question. And I'll be no. Listen, I just want to know that anybody else see this. I made a point, JR. I promise you this is relevant. I made a point about men and their tone. I also talked about how men, when they're speaking to women, we try and come in smooth. It's not until we put a little bass in our voice. Am I the only person that noticed?
What do you guys think about this video? What do you guys think about this video? Again, this is one part of the conversation. This is not the full conversation. I did see that Lapeef posted a video saying that Melanie holds her accountable. And so I think it's only right that I react to that video like immediately next so that we can see how this whole thing kind of like, transcends or plays out, because I like the fact that was a title, because we need to see that aspect of the conversation as well. Because sometimes when you see these little clips, it doesn't give a lot of context to the entire conversation or the entire situation that happened. So I definitely want to watch that. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I genuinely want to know. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. And again, if you're not following me on Instagram, follow my Instagram. It's @RIVAH_JORDON. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into the next video. So watch this video and then immediately watch the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Mwah.